Hi, I'm Billy Griffith with Prince William County's Office of Historic Preservation, coming to you today from the old jail at Brentsville Courthouse Historic Center. Today is the anniversary of a February 14th, 1864 skirmish to take place just outside of the town of Brentsville during the Civil War. Now, during the winter of 1863 to 1864, the Union Pennsylvania Reserve Division was encamped just a few miles up the road at Bristow Station along the old Orange and Alexandria Railroad. This area in particular, between Bristow Station and Occoquan, was patrolled heavily by Union cavalrymen trying to flush out guerrilla units like the Iron Scouts, Confederate horsemen from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. They were constantly coming through Brentsville because this was a known rendezvous and organization point for the Iron Scouts. So on February 14th, 1864, about 25 men of the 13th Pennsylvania Cavalry, under the command of a Lieutenant Patrick Early, are going to be given orders to come to Brentsville and push on outside the town about a mile to a mile and a half, looking for any Confederate resistance in this area. Accompanying them were several officers on the staff of General Samuel Crawford, who commanded the Pennsylvania Reserve Division. One of them was Major James Larrimer of Clearfield, Pennsylvania. So on the morning of February 14th, this party of Union cavalrymen push out of Bristow Station and head here towards Brentsville. When they arrive in town, they spend several hours gathering information, questioning people here in Brentsville, trying to find the whereabouts of these Confederate Iron Scouts. Well, around noontime or so, a little bit after, these Union soldiers are going to peer down the Brentsville Road, today's Bristow Road, in the direction of Cedar Run, which runs at the bottom of this high eminence that the town is located on. And they're going to see several Confederate horsemen kind of moseying and milling about the pine thicket. They're immediately going to pursue these men and push them towards Cedar Run. While trying to go across the bridge that spanned this waterway, they're going to push across and immediately come under fire from men who had laid an ambush for them in a pine thicket on the other side of Cedar Run. One of the officers who is with this group of Union cavalrymen is going to write in an after-action report about this event that transpired, and he is going to say, "The column, being in an exposed position which afforded no chance to oppose the adversary, dashed rapidly forward to a point opposite the thicket, about 15 rods beyond, where it terminates to a point extending toward the bridge, when Major Larrimer, who accompanied the expedition, who was also at the head of this column pushing forward, and 2 men were killed, and 4 were wounded by a volley, apparently from carbines, proceeding from the thicket. This brought the column to a halt except for 2 officers, one of them the commander of those Pennsylvania cavalry troops, Lieutenant Early, and also another, who had gone so far across the bridge that they were under such headway as to make it prudent to go ahead, which they did, passing the enemy massed close to the road to the right side of it." So after these men go across Cedar Run, they are going to then fall back and wait for these Confederate troopers to kind of fall back further down the road. Then after that, they will cross once more and retrieve Major Larrimer's body. And they said when they found him, he had been stripped of his shoes. So they're going to carry Larrimer's body back to the camp at Bristow Station, and immediately General Crawford is going to be filled with a vengeful rage that he is going to order all of his available cavalrymen to ride towards Brentsville to try to find these scouts and bring them to justice. But when they get to Cedar Run, they're going to see that these Confederate troopers were nowhere to be found. Now, Larrimer's body was eventually taken to Alexandria, Virginia, where it would then be put on a train, and he would make his way home back to Clearfield, Pennsylvania. One of his friends in the 5th Pennsylvania Reserves, Lieutenant Granville Swoop, native of the area as well, is going to write a letter to the local newspaper called the Raspin Journal. And he is going to publish a heartfelt account here about Larrimer's body being returned to the men in Alexandria. He said, "Major Larrimer, who was killed on the 14th instant, Sunday, by guerrillas near Brentsville. I was one of the committee that took his body to the embalmer to have it preserved, as we desire his friends to see him in death as he was in life. When the body came to the regiment yesterday morning, the men all gathered round the ambulance, with uncovered heads and the most perfect silence, while the tears streamed down the cheeks of many war-worn veterans. I've never witnessed such a demonstration of respect and esteem for any officer who has fallen. We intend to escort the body to the train car with the entire regiment, and perhaps will be joined by the 7th and 8th Pennsylvania Reserves in this last sad offering to him who is loved and respected by all who knew him. Swope would then conclude with a poignant tribute to Larrimer by saying, "Thus fell one, of whom it is no exaggeration to say, he was the bravest of the brave." So that February 14th, 1864 skirmish here outside of Brentsville was just one more instance when the American Civil War showed its bloody and terrible face to the people here at Brentsville. Thank you. Once again, I am Billy Griffith with the Prince William County Office of Historic Preservation, coming to you today on the anniversary of this 1864 fight.